Hey everybody. Oh my gosh. Sorry. One sec. Test. Welcome in everybody. I'm having a little bit of a problem with the audio right now. I hope you guys can hear the music, but I can also hear myself, which is driving me crazy. But I hope you can hear me. Welcome in, and give me just a second to see if I can figure this out. Hello, hello, hello. Test. Tests. Oh, shoot. Hello, hello. Oh, there we go. Goodness gracious, I almost went crazy. Can you guys hear me now? Oh my god, there we go. Anyways, welcome in. My name is Josh. This is the Gaming Joy channel, and we are on Barris. And I hope you can hear me. Oh my god, the game is actually loud right now. I don't know if that's just me or setting. Give me a second. I think there we go. That's about what I wanted. Lower that down a little bit. Nope. That's not what I wanted. Welcome in, everybody. How's it going tonight? Sorry about the little delay. I was sitting here listening to your, like, what goes to the stream, if that makes any sense. And what goes to the stream is obviously includes my voice. And I didn't want that. But I was listening to what you guys hear, and so I was going crazy because I was listening to too much. And so, yeah, that's the way it was. So hopefully we fixed it. Hopefully we're getting it working. Yeah, and that's how it is. How's it going, everybody? Can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you. Okay, so where are we? We're back on Barris. I skipped ahead a few months. Unfortunately, because I skipped ahead a few months, that means that I'm harvesting again. We just harvested this field last time, but that's not the focus of today. This is obviously going to take a little bit of effort. Because I skipped ahead, actually, I also didn't feed the animals for like 2 months, so I think the chickens are not producing eggs anymore. It wasn't really the focus of this playthrough, is to keep the chickens happy, so I may have made them angry. But that's okay. Let's hook around here and get some wheat from this guy. Go ahead, open your spout, give me some wheat. Or not. I tried. He's gonna be full any second. I don't have my little worker thing on here. That's weird. Anyways, welcome in. Today's crazy day. So we're gonna start doing something even crazier. I'm gonna leave this here for now. Actually, I can just follow. Oh, I can't. Never mind. We're not gonna deal with the wheat. We're gonna have to deal with it by emptying out the harvester, but what we're really going to deal with today is the coffee. Yay! Look at this coffee. I mean, if you look really, really close, it's obviously one-dimensional, right? But it looks, from the far, it looks pretty good. Nice red coffee beans. If you didn't know, coffee does not grow brown. It's red when it's picked. And then you have to do all kinds of fun stuff to harvest it and treat it and all kinds of stuff. And so let's start off by jumping in and buying the building we've been wanting to buy for a really long time. So we're going to come over here to the coffee roaster. And the coffee roaster, we're going to have to go ahead and buy this for $80,000. And then out here, this is the second half of the process, which is the first step. So the coffee roaster, so we have the roasted coffee. This guy makes roasted coffee, and then this one makes premium coffee. So this guy roasts them, they get sent over here, and they get converted to premium coffee. And that's the way the roasting is set up on this map. Now, it used to be 2 different buildings, which didn't look really great. Now it's all one. And that's just how it is. So what we're going to do, now that we own those buildings, is we're going to start harvesting the coffee. So let's tab until we can find our new harvester. Now we have the weirdest harvester, like, on the map, I think. And yeah, so this guy needs to be emptied out. So he can keep moving. We're going to have to come up here and empty him out. really the coffee is going to be our focus today. We just need to get this done so we can move on with our lives. All right, there we go. So this is the coffee. What I've got is I have my special boxes. These are my little refillable pallets. It's empty. It doesn't have anything in it. I hope it's going to work to take coffee in. I don't know yet. I think it will. But I'm not sure. I did do some testing. This thing does work. This little cultivator. It does work. But you can only cultivate after you harvest. So after you harvest, the next day you have to cultivate. And that's just how it works. So if we come over here, this guy's almost done. Move him out of the way so he doesn't get in the way. So we're in the 80s, and so that means we can't use stuff like the Jatco harvester, which I don't even think I have installed. You could also use, I mean, I had a couple other ones. I had a couple other ones on here, but none of it fit. None of it fit really for the 80s. And so we have our box here ready to go. We have this. So what this is like hand harvesting, Russian style, I guess. It's a little 50 horse or 25 horsepower Honda lawnmower engine. Literally, you can see it. It's actually, they did it really well. Hooked up with some handlebars, and that's how we move forward, right? It's just that. And it's just pulling this trailer. And then we got these two people on the back, which are really, really, like, the guy in the front doesn't look bad. His model is good. This lady, she's got some polygons. She's got some polygon problems. I don't know why they put her in here, but I tried to swap it out so just two of these guys, because this guy actually looks like he's done pretty well. But it didn't work out. I couldn't figure it out. So, whatever. The way this works is we turn it on, and we sit here, and we go like this, and we drive along, and it'll go like 8 miles an hour or so. I forget what the best, I think it's 8 kilometers an hour, I think was what I found would work best. The least amount of missing. But they sit here and they harvest the crops for me. And as long as I stay, oh, she's in course way to stay in a straight line. As long as I stay in a straight line, they get almost everything. And that's how it gets harvested. You can see they're slowly filling up the bins. Right? It's the simplest animation you can think of. Not simple, but like it shakes the vines just like the regular coffee harvester does. And we just drive back and forth on these things. That's crazy. Yeah, so this is the coffee harvester that we're going to be using. And it does the job. Really, that's all there is to say about it. It does the job. It makes it so that we can harvest our coffee beans and kind of get the process going. Now, obviously this isn't like the best thing, but I mean, this is an old school-ish Honda lawnmower engine. It's like as simple as it comes. We're not talking a $500,000 machine. We're not talking something super big and expensive and like hundreds of horsepower. No. We're talking a little lawnmower engine and a couple people on the back harvesting our plants. To me, that seems pretty close to what you would have done in the 80s, because you're going to put some manpower on it, right? You don't have those fancy automations or fancy machines. It's just, you know, simple. Easy enough, right? You can't fault it, right? It does the job. It's going to take a while. Don't get me wrong. It's going to take a while, but you can't really fault it. Anyways, I'm gonna let this run. Say hi. What's going on, everybody? I see a bunch of people in chat. Ronnie, welcome in. Luke, Tobo Fish, how's it going? Rusty Money, thank you for coming in. PA Plowboy, thank you for coming in. Now this one was actually this one is actually on King Mods, and all I did was change the string in the mod to say to harvest coffee instead of what it's built for, which is grapes. Now, the first time I saw this mod or something similar to it, I think, was on, I forget who, Modest Gamer or something like that. One of those guys who does who plays No Man's Land over and over and over, and you know, One Tree, No Man's Land, those kind of challenges, right? That's where I first saw it being used, and I'm like, that's just looks really bad. And if you look, like the arms are like glitching through their bodies and stuff, like it's not great. I mean, don't get me, looking far away, it doesn't look that bad, but up close, it's not that great. And I hope that like with the new Giants engine and the new stuff that we're getting for 25, stuff like this can happen, because the idea is cool. I just think the implementation might need a little bit of work. But we're full. And now this is the part where I'm not sure about. So we're going to go to the end of this row. I'm going to come over here. And we're going to see if I can dump into my bin. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. We're going to see. Nope. See, if I had a spout, I could dump into this bin. But I'm not going to be able to. So what am I going to do? Let's find out. Construction. I think we just used this thing that came with the map, right? Except it's not flat here at all. It's going to totally deform everything. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put this in here and empty, into here. Okay, that allows me to empty. Let me smooth it out a little bit. Landscaping, smoothing. We'll have to put another one of these at the other end. Because my little bin didn't work. I wish it did. But it didn't. Oh well. Alright, so we're going to reverse back into the row we were in, if I can find it. There it is. Finish off the row and then loop around and kind of keep going back and forth. So there was a quick question in there up in the thread, and thank you for asking it. I believe it was Ronnie who was asking if this is my last Farm Sim 22 stream. And the answer, the truest answer is, I don't know. Maybe. So I'm not planning on, like, deleting FS22 or anything. I'm not going to get rid of my save games. There's no reason to. But with Farm Sim 25 coming out next week on the date I normally stream, it just makes sense to check out the new game with the new maps and all kind of stuff with you guys. And I don't know if I'm going to continue just doing that. I might add in a Farm Sim 22 stream here and there. But for the most part, my plan is to move over to 25 with most of my content. Now, if you guys really want to see me keep going with 25, keep going with 22, or keep going with this playthrough specifically, or with one of my other playthroughs, please let me know down in the comments or in my Discord. I do want to know that. I have a feeling I may do what kind of Rusty does, and Rusty's been doing since. So, for me, this is all new. I've never gone from one version of the game to another version of the game, right? This is new to me. I've never played any other version of the game. So, for me, this is actually pretty exciting because for the first time, I'm going to get to approach the new game completely new, but with, like, I'll get to approach it new as a new player, but I also have all of the context. One of the things that I don't know if it really made me feel bad, but one of the things that I guess regretted, and maybe a little bit, is that I never played any other previous version of Farm Sim. I don't have the context that a lot of you have. Not everyone has context, but I started with 22. I started just after the release of 22. I saw a streamer streaming Farm Sim who was a variety streamer, and I'm like, oh, that looks kind of fun. I guess I'll check it out. And then I had a birthday coming up. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to check out a bunch of new games on my birthday. And I downloaded Farm Sim 22. I downloaded Lens Island. And there was one other game that I tried that day. I don't remember what it was. But essentially, I tried 2 or 3 games, and then I never played any of those other games again. I never played Lens Island again. It was very early access. It was a playable game, but it wasn't... there was a little bit more grinding than I wanted. It was a fun game, and I may go back to it someday. But I kind of fell into 22 and really enjoyed it. And then I started streaming 22 regularly. But so this time I get to, like, be there with you guys, with everyone else who has some knowledge of the previous game, 22, going into the new game, 25, and wanting, and I'll finally be able to have that context of, okay, I know what there was before. How did they fix it? How did they change it? How did they add to it? How did they change the game for the better? I hope they did. We don't know yet, but well, we can hope. So we're going to put I think we're getting about 1 pass here. So we're going to take this silo again. And I wish I had something that didn't deform the ground as much. We're going to come in here, right here. Now I want to get this down in like the 25s. Such a steep hill down here, it's going to be tough. Oh, I saw 25 there quickly. Close enough. And then let's smooth that out. Landscaping, smooth. How's that look? Not bad. It's not getting very smooth, but it's not bad. All right, let's turn this people off. Zoom on over here, empty out, come back, and start again. But anyways, I'll be able to come into the game and experience it fresh, just like you guys will. But I'll be able to experience it with knowledge of not only what came before, but in my case, what the game can be. you know, being part of the modding community, I know what the game can be, what I could have effect in doing to make it better, and so I'll be able to come into the game with a different perception than I came in before. Before, when I started playing, I was just like, oh, that looks cool. I wonder if it'll be fun. Right? That was my perception before. That's how I saw the game. But now I can come into it with a different perspective and hopefully use some of my experience to make the game better. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. Well, you know what? Let's get this guy unloaded. He's ready to be unloaded again. I think for 25, that's what I'm definitely looking at. But if you guys still want to see 22, you still want to see some of these playthroughs, please, please, please let me know. I would definitely value any input anyone gives me in regards to that. If you want me to finish this off and keep going, let me know. Tonight, we're probably going to be able to get some of the coffee field harvested, and we'll probably be able to deliver some coffee over to the roaster. But who knows past that? And the other thing to remember is that when we go to 25, if you look at it from a very, very open-ended perspective, we're going to have 2 maps, and only 2 maps, because I'm not even including Sri Lanka. I won't even look at that, because not a fan. So we're going to have 2 new maps, and that's it. For at least a month, I'm guessing, a minimum, based on how fast Giants' QA testing process is lately. We're going to have only 2 maps for like a month. Oh, I can't tab this vehicle. Can't tab. I can tab it, okay. So I'm only gonna have it. We're, you know, for at least a month, maybe 2. That's all we're gonna have is 1 or 2 maps, and then if we get lucky, you know, some of our favorites like Alien Jim or Oxygen David or whatever, we'll get their new maps out pretty soon, or some maps will get converted pretty soon. I think it'll be at least a couple months before we see unique, new to FS25 maps come out, fully using all of the new technologies. And because of that, maybe we'll have some more time to play some of the existing maps like this one, or existing series like we have going on like this one, or maybe we can do a final hurrah on Middleburg or whatnot. We'll see what happens. I'll still be producing content on FS22 for a little while, just to finish stuff off, but I'll be trying to focus on 25, and at the beginning, I'm going to be mostly focused on live streaming the new maps. Probably won't be making content, but I will be making mods, and I'm going to be focusing on modding and getting as many mods onto ModHub as soon as possible. To answer Ronnie's question, who's asking up there in the chat, no, I will not be getting it early. I'm not a Giants partner, so I'm not going to get it early. I'm going to get it the same day everyone else gets it. I have no plans to even apply to be a Giants partner. So, no, I'm not going to get it early. I don't know if I will at some point, maybe. We'll see how things work out with 25, and if they start changing some of their modding policies that I'm not a big fan of. We'll see. But I number for sure won't be getting it early. But I will start working on my mods. I've already started working on them to be able to convert them over for 22. 25. Exactly, Luke. T-minus 7 days. Now, I am planning... I did take the day off for release day, so I will be able to be online and or supporting friends and stuff like that who have the game, and or streaming myself next Tuesday. So if you're around next Tuesday, keep your eye out for streams from me I'm planning on at least kind of doing a... I won't start any series right away, but I might do a map tour or something like that of each map before I start digging into modding and trying to get some of my mods up and running on 22. So I'm hoping really quickly, really early on, you'll see me using some of the existing mods that we have here on 22. Now, the one that I do know is going to take the longest is going to be VPW. So the VPW mod, which everyone is really, really enjoying, that came out recently, that one's going to take the longest to convert over. Mainly because they've changed a lot of things of how the vehicle system works. And so I have to adapt to all of those changes before I can start getting those mods onto ModHub. The other thing I'm also going to be working on, and this will be coming in a couple months, is I have some placeables packs that I'd like to get released on ModHub. So I already have the building models, but I'm hoping, if I can, to release as many of those buildings models as I can as construction projects. Assuming that the construction project system is simple enough and I can adapt the models that I already have to be used as construction projects. But I don't actually know that for sure yet. So I'm hoping, and for sure they'll come out as placeables. Whether or not they come out as placeables and construction projects is still to be determined. Luke asked a good question. Is Deadwood coming out for 25? I don't know 100% for sure on that answer, Luke. I think so. Deadwood is... I had a hand in Deadwood, obviously. But I had a hand in Deadwood towards the end. In making sure that the map was ready. Why is it not getting that last one? Come on, people. Get this last one. There we go. But it's not my map, so I will do everything I can to help Poor Boy when he's ready to bring Deadwood over to 25, if that's what he wants. I believe he's planning to bring it over to 25, but I don't know for sure. I do know for a fact that he's not planning on bringing all of his maps to 25. I believe he's going to take a select few of them to convert over, but that's all he's planning on. And in all honesty, I think that for Poor Boy and every other map maker modder that's out there, I think a bit of understanding is going to be needed from the community, right? If the community is trashing on people and giving people a hard time, why haven't you brought this map or this mod or blah, 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 blah. Why isn't it in 25 yet? Like, you're going to see less people bringing stuff to 25 if the community is bashing on or abusing modders by demanding things. You have to remember that every map needs to be, to convert a map, we don't even know what that amount of work is yet. I can guess, but I have no idea. But you have to remember that it takes time, and most people do this as, you know, just as a hobby, as something fun, as you know, a challenge themselves. For me, it's a challenge to myself to learn something new. I don't make very much money from this. It's not like it's a job that I can support my family on. So it's all done in my free time. What that means is that I believe that people like Poor Boy are not going to be, you know, suddenly within the first 2 months releasing every single map they've ever made in 25. Especially considering, you know, how much negative feedback Poor Boy got for releasing some of his existing maps in 22. Like, he's not going to want to deal with that again. So it's up to the community to really support the modders and the map makers. You want to see a map converted? Support that modder. Let them know that you want it, but not let them know, like, hey, bring it over, I want it. like, I'd really like to see you bring this map or this thing to 25. And tell them why you like it. Tell them why you want to bring it over, or what it means to you, or that it was your favorite map, or whatever the case may be. But the second people start demanding stuff, or even demanding that it be exactly the way it was before, you're gonna see a lot of modders pull back and be like, you know what, screw you, I'm not doing it. Exactly, it's voluntary. We do this for fun. We do this out of excitement. We might make a little bit of money on it, but you know what I mean? Like, of all the mods and downloads that I've gotten for 22, it's been a total overall of that time of a couple $100. And I didn't even get 90% of it because of issues with Giants and their payment system. So it's, you know, it is what it is. We do this for fun. We don't do this for profit. We don't do this for a living. It's, for almost all of us, it's just fun, honestly. Yeah, and as Bruce says, you need to be more considerate to modders. You need to be more considerate that their time and energy is their time and energy. And making a map or making a mod or converting a map or converting a mod, it's going to take as much time as it takes. You can't rush it. You don't want to like shortcut it, because we've all seen when maps come out and it looks like they don't have enough testing, or looks like the modder didn't spend enough time making it actually work, and then it's garbage and people get angry because it's not finished, or stuff doesn't work, or whatever. I mean, we were talking about in my Discord today, by the way. If you're not there, I think most of you are. But if anyone's watching the stream who's not in my Discord normally, that's not how you spell Discord. We've had an ongoing chat in Discord about maps and mods, and, you know, the maps that we liked and the maps that we didn't like or couldn't play because it was just not finished. So definitely join the Discord and you can join in on that conversation. It's been a fun conversation. People might be surprised to say that this is not one of my favorite maps. For 22. And because I have some weird criteria for favorite maps. I think this is, you know, top 20 maybe, but there's a lot of other maps that are much higher on the list, and partially because I spent so much time fixing this map. It was not functional when it was shipped, and the version that's on ModHub, because this map is on ModHub, just is not function. It's not functional. It's just, it's really hard to play because it has a lot of idiosyncrasies, or whatever you want to call it. It's just, there's some stuff about it that, like, I don't agree with, and so I had to do a lot of work to fix it. And there's been very few maps that I've spent time playing on that I didn't fix. Been very, very few. But that said, come on, drive. I keep missing, lady. It's very finicky about, like, making sure they're, like, a certain distance away. And they can't be closer and they can't be farther. They have to be just barely far enough to shake the branches, but not, like, get their face in the branches. Like, see, they skipped that one. Alright, I'm not worried about that. Yes, I am. I'm totally going to worry about it. OCD, people. There we go. There we go. So anyway, so what are my favorite maps? It's a really good question. what I look for in a map, and you guys probably know this already, but I'll share it with you anyways in case someone who's watching this stream or watching the replay doesn't know this. This map is a fair example of the things that I like. I like hills. I like technical and challenging terrain. I like custom crops. I like when the modder has gone out of their way to make something that's different, that's unique, that is challenging in some way or another. This map, if you look at it, this is a wilderness map. I love wilderness maps. This one doesn't really feel like a wilderness map because it has a massive, massive town area. But in essence, it's a wilderness map. Most of the map is wilderness and it's like a free to build, do whatever you want with. So most of it's a wilderness map. And the town network is honestly one of the things that I really love the most about this map is the town and the roads around it. It's not straight lines. It's all confusing. You have to actually really think about where you're going versus, oh, I don't know, something like Frankenmuth, right? Which is a fair map. But Frankenmuth is a good example of maps that I don't like and that I wouldn't choose to play unless I was on it for some other reason, like a challenge or something like that, right? Frankenmuth is perfectly flat. It has ditches. I can't stand ditches. And big square fields. And it's just blah to me. You probably wouldn't ever see me make a map like that unless I was doing it to be funny. Right? And I have half a mind to do that, is make a map that's intentionally bad. And I might do it in a weird way. But anyways, that's the kind of maps like. So I like hills, I like challenges. Some of the maps that I've had a lot of fun on, not all of which have been on this channel. Like I loved Elk Mountain. Elk Mountain is a huge map, and Elk Mountain is this wonderful middle ground to me, where they use the fact that it's a 4X map, and they basically included 3 different maps all in one map. Elk Mountain, if you look at it from a high level, is a standard size map in the middle with fields and farms and pre-built farms and places you can move into and productions and sell points and yada yada yada. Really cool road network, some decorative buildings that are unique, train system, all that kind of stuff. And then outside of that, you get a wilderness map on the outskirts. A really, really awesome wilderness map where you can do both forestry and you can do like big wide open plains that you can mow to your heart's content and make big fields or make big new farms. And then to top it all off, there's a mine. And then there's a mine on one side of Elk Mountain that has all of the things you'd want in a mine. It was designed for terraform. I think the only thing it was missing was a way to play Elk Mountain without terraform. That would have been a great update to Elk Mountain, but it really kind of required terraform to be able to use the mine, because there's no other way of getting pay dirt, so you had to use the mine. Or you had to use terraform to be able to use the mine, if that makes any sense. Yeah, Yukon Valley was another great map, same thing, but very, very big. And it was this really cool combination of there's some farms and there's trees and forestry and all that kind of stuff, but there's also a lot of wilderness that you have to actually build and change and make into whatever you want. And I think that those are the kind of maps that appeal to me. There's another couple maps. One of the discussions we were having was, what maps did you not get to play? If we think about it from the perspective of, okay, if tomorrow, since next week, 25 is going to be out, what did you miss playing? Like, what maps did you not get to play that you wanted to play? Right? I've got lists like you wouldn't believe. I've got full playthroughs set up on, and like storylines and like a machine and equipment all picked out and exactly how I'd play the map. And I've tested the first, 50 hours of playing on each of these maps, hoping to make content on it, but never getting the chance because where I stumble is, number one, I don't have the free time to stream every day. I really wish I did, but I don't. And then I definitely don't have the time to both record and edit. I'm open. I've been very open that I'm looking to hire someone to come in and help edit. I'm willing to pay them for that service. But I need someone to edit so that I can make more content and I can focus more on modding instead of focusing on video editing, which is, I just don't have the time to do it to the level of detail that I want it to be done. But there's plenty of maps. I have a whole series of like alpine survival-ish maps. I really wanted to play on the first one that comes top of mind is Kuusela. Kuusuela, I think is how it's pronounced. I'll put links to this stuff in the show notes. Kuusela was this one that was on King Mods. It was a really cool looking map. It was definitely an alpine wilderness survival type map, mostly forestry, but there were some fields scattered around, and it wasn't flat. It had a little teeny town. It had some extra fill types, had some extra custom productions and stuff like that, which was all really cool. And I had played that map more than once, testing out like my idea. My original idea was to do, because it's like an alpine map, I was going to do like a Dutsfar map. And I was going to use the Unimog as my main source of transportation initially, but I was going to use all Dutsfar tractors. So all of the tractors would be Dutsfar tractors. I had a whole set of like the old school Dutsfar tractors picked out, none of the new ones. Just the old ones, like the Agro Star and stuff like that. But I never got a chance to play it. It was, I literally have the save ready to go. And then two other ones who are also in that same kind of alpine realm, which I was using that same set of machinery for testing. One of them was Hontakorpi, which is a really great Finnish map that pretty much didn't need any editing. I love maps that I don't need to fix before I can play and be happy with it. Just because that takes time and effort, and I don't have time for that. And it's just unfortunate to me. There's so many maps that get released that don't work, and for people to play them, they have to fix them, and that's a bummer. But it also is what it is, right? Hey, Artemis. Hontakorpi, which there's another one by it was very, very similar to Hontakorpi, but a 4X version that I was talking about today, which was well, now I have to open my thing and look. Takapujula 4X, which is a really, really awesome 4X Finnish map that was so well done, and it looked just beautiful from the get-go. It had a lot of cool features in it, but the one downside with that map, which is the reason I didn't play it, is it was a Finnish map, and it had a significant amount of Finnish forestry. And Finnish forestry, if you haven't seen it, there's been plenty of maps that have come out like this. But there's so many trees, and they're all those really, really thin, spindly trees. There's so many of them that my computer, my laptop that I play on, even with a 3070 in it, didn't have enough power to run it. And I was running it like 10 to 12 FPS, which you can't play a map at 10 to 12 FPS at my normal settings. And so I ended up spending a ton of time like trying to dial down my settings to like a lower level that I was still happy with, but I never got in a happy zone where I could actually enjoy playing that map because the frame rate was just too bad. I might go back to it. I have a new computer sitting behind me. I haven't even set up yet, but I might go back to it with a newer computer and see what happens. Deep Sky Farms says that he tried it today and he was able to run it fine with his system. So maybe I'll take another look at it. And then the other one was, I can't remember the name of it. I wish I could remember the name of it off the top of my head. The other like alpine survival map that I really wanted to play was, I can't remember the name of it. The one that Krustu played for a while. The one that has a really, really severe nighttime over the winter thing where it's like there's only like 2 hours of daylight, but it's like a center of the map is like a little cell area, and then everything else is just trees and grass. Corpy, thank you. So Corpy was another one thank you very much, Rusty. That was one I really wanted to play, and I did play on my own. Again, testing out equipment, testing out what I wanted to do, testing out if I could have fun on it. And I probably played 30, 40 hours of that map, and then was like, okay, I'll do a series on this next. And then I got more ideas for more series, and I ended up never doing anything on it. But Corpy was a good one. Corpy was beautiful. The weather is weird, but I love it. I love that extra challenge of the weather's day-night cycle being strange. That made that map more interesting and more of a challenge, right? I think that's kind of like the clear picture we're having here is, can a map be more of a challenge? What else did I not get to play? Oh, the top of my list that I didn't get to play, that I wanted to play, were two maps. And they go right in line because they're both by the same map author, but I never got to play them. I really, 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 really wanted to. And I pray that they're bringing them to 25 so that I can play them in 25, because I think they'll be even better in 25. And that's Castle No, which is, I think that's how you pronounce it, Castle No. That's how I would pronounce it. And Poligny by MA7. MA7 Studios made some amazing maps, and both Poligny and Castle No are just amazingly beautiful maps. And I never got a chance to play them. Again, both of them I tested out, I messed around with stuff, I checked out the farms. One of the things those maps both had going for them were really, really, really beautiful starting farms. Really well laid out, but also very hilly, very technical, very intentional. You had to be intentional with how you approached the fields, which I really, really loved. Never got to play them. I hope to play them someday. I really, really hope to play them in 25. Hey, Psycho Kid, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Artemis, this is a cool mod. It's, you know, at a distance, it's great. It's like, oh, cool, there's people working, they're shaking the vines, they're collecting the coffee beans. But then when you get close, like, yeah. I don't know. The guy's model is way better than the girl that's in the model. Her model is horribly pixelated, but the guy's model is actually pretty smooth. I didn't make it. I found it on ModHub. Or not ModHub, on King Mods. It was the only, like, not $500,000 coffee harvester that I could find, or grape harvester that was actually built as a grape harvester. And then I converted it to coffee. Just for you guys. Coffee did come as part of this map, but it expected you to use the jack code. I'm trying to think what else. I had a whole series planned out. And if I can still do it someday, I might, on a map called Vorbarlger Alpen. Is that right? I wrote it down earlier. Vorarlberger Alpen, which is a 4X map, very Alpine-centric map. It was one of the few maps that I've seen that was released as an Alpine map that actually had the fields. The field. Oops, did I empty that or no? No, I did. Where you actually had fields on the map that you had to that you could actually fertilize. So very much like the base game map. I don't remember what it's called. Where's my truck? I'm like driving around this field looking for my truck. Can't find it. There it is. Erlengrat, very much like Erlengrat, where you have these grass fields, and they're actual fields. They're marked on the map as fields, but they're not numbered, which means you can fertilize them. And you have field borders, and you have different growth patterns based on the fact that it's a field, but it's essentially meadow. But that one was a really cool map. It looks really pretty. It looks like a really great Alpine map. Never got to play it. I wanted to do that one as like not a let's play, but like almost a role play. I've never done a role play series, and that was going to be the first one. And then there was another map that was released recently. Let me see if I can find the name of it. That would be, I would think, is like a precursor to that map. If that makes any sense. Like within the same story, and that was. I'm looking it up on my other window. Landsberger Farm? No, that's not it. Anyways, there's an Alpine map that just came out for consoles recently. It was out for PC for a while. Same kind of thing. Really, really steep hillsides. Alpine map designed for hillside mowing. And I have a whole plan for that. And I have stories, and I have equipment, and I have customized equipment that I've spent a lot of time customizing. All for that same kind of playthrough. And I still want to do that playthrough. And it'll be probably just waiting for the right map in 25 to do that same playthrough. DS Power has neat looking maps, but very few with updates. Yeah, and I agree with Rusty, and I think that that's one of the reasons that a lot of times some of these maps you look at and you're like, wow, that's a really pretty map. Not Zrees. It was released recently. I'm looking at my Tyrolean White Creek Valley Crossplay. That's the name of it. It has a different name on ModHub, but the zip file is called Tyrolean White Creek Valley. Really small-ish map. Not very big, not very many. I think there was like one field on the map. It was essentially grasswork and forestry, very much of a Norway kind of that realm of the world vibe to it. That's the kind of stuff I love doing. I love forestry, love doing forestry stuff, and I love doing grass work. And if I can use that mower with the spikes on it, all the better. I'm like the only person who loves that mower. Well, I love my version of that mower that is fixed to actually work. What else? What other? So yeah, there's been plenty of maps that have come out, and a lot of people, and I've played some maps that were, and we were talking about this, and there's a lot of maps that get released, and they get released and forgotten, right? And what I mean by that is the map maker will be like, okay, here's my map, have fun, and then they just leave it. They just leave it alone, and they don't ever update it, and they don't ever fix anything. And no matter how many times people reach out to them to say, hey, this is broken, hey, would you mind fixing this, could you release an update, they just don't bother. And so you get a map that doesn't work, or there's certain parts of the map that don't work, but it's just left there to sit and fester. And then some of those maps I just didn't even finish playing because it made me too angry. But yeah. Rusty had a great question. What are my guesses? And anyone else can answer this in the chat. Please answer Rusty also in the chat. Let me know what you think. But guesses for the first modder with the first map to drop. I don't know that. I almost want to say Alien Jim, just because I suspect that he's still working on, he's going to work on an update for No Man's Land. I really hope he is. I don't know if he is or not. No one's heard anything from him in a long time, so no one really knows, but I really hope it's going to be No Man's Land with Alien Jim, but I suspect Omatana will probably get a map out really quickly. But I suspect that a lot of the first maps that are going to hit, and this is kind of proven by the track record so far for 21 or 22, is a lot of the first maps they're going to hit are just going to be converts. They're going to be an old map converted to FS25. They're not going to be new maps with FS25 standards and buildings and equipment and all of that stuff. They're just going to be maps that are converted. Maps that I totally think are going to be converted, like Omatana's Four Fields and Hinterland. I totally think that, and again, I don't have any problem with them. I think I'm looking more forward to the new maps. And there's a lot of maps that I hope are converted. Like, I hope Elk Mountain gets converted. I think that would be awesome. I know that Elk River is in development. I hope that makes it to 25. I know that's where he's planning to bring it out, but I think it's lower priority than Elk Mountain was. But I can't wait to see what players do with the new stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking forward to seeing what players will do with the rice. Like, I want to see what kind of crazy alien-style maps. I'm sorry, not alien. I read Alien Jim. Asian-style maps are going to come out. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to making one myself. I already have ideas. Come on, go. But yeah, I think a lot of the first ones are going to be converts of existing maps that people found really awesome. I look forward to it, honestly. I look forward to seeing some of the maps that... I really hope that some of the maps that I didn't get to play do get converted. I'm afraid that some of my favorite maps are not going to get converted, and so I'll have to live with what I had in 22. You know what I mean? And the one thing I never mentioned earlier, and I glossed right over it. I think I get distracted. But my favorite map for 22, my all-time favorite map for all of Farm Sim 22, is still to this day, Middleburg. I think Middleburg has almost everything. And I think the only thing they would have made Middleburg better is converting some of there's a bunch of like corners of the map that are just like non-stop forests, converting some of those to open kind of build your own kind of land. I think would have been, if they could have done it in a way that made sense, I think that would have made it a perfect map for me. Ronnie says he hopes that Westbridge Hill is going to come back. CS Benji said that Alien Jim isn't going to convert in a rush. Yeah, I hope he doesn't. I hope he makes a new No Man's Land and takes everything he learned from his other maps and puts it into one and makes a new kind of wilderness style map that everyone can enjoy. I really hope that happens. I don't think I ever played Westridge Hills. I played Goldcrest Valley. I did Rusty Money's challenge for a while, the Back to Basics challenge. I did that for a long while. Actually, I almost finished it. Maybe someday I should release those videos as like a throwback kind of thing. But I did play Goldcrest for a while. Or the new version of Goldcrest by I don't know. I forget the modder's name. Anyways, I did play Goldcrest. But I think the thing I'm more looking forward to, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what the game has to offer us that we haven't seen yet. Because I suspect that we haven't seen everything. I think there's still going to be a few surprises next week on release day, or rather this weekend when the people who have early access get it. I think there's going to be a few surprises that people are not expecting. I hope. I hope we haven't seen everything already. You know? And I'm looking to see what the modding community comes up with and kind of backfills where Giants may have not put their effort into. New productions, Artemis. I'm really looking forward to the construction sites. I don't know what it's going to be called. It was originally in the I think I heard in the code for Silver Run it was called a factory, but a factory and a production don't really make sense to me. But the ability to make anything buildable. The one hint that we got that anything will be buildable is the fact that you're able to build a farmhouse. So that means that that building is not just a placeable, it's also going to have a sleep trigger. Which means, I'm hoping, means you can build anything. I'm hoping you can build productions, right? Like, I hope there's a construction process that lets you build just about anything. I would love to be able to build a production building, right? You know, take one of the old wooden windmills, and you build the windmill with wood, and it becomes a grain mill that you can then use to do grain, right? No. Not possible yet, Benji. Whether they make that possible in 25, don't know. But it's definitely not possible. The one thing you can do, CS Benji, is you could, if you took an existing map and template for that map, where the ground is already done for you, then you could make an entire map in-game, and then futzing with XML files and exporting and stuff like that, you should be able to make a whole entire map, but having built it in-game. But the part that you won't be able to get out of the game without going into GE at all is going to be any kind of ground manipulation. If that makes any sense. Hey, Tennessee Farmer, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for jumping in. We're just harvesting some coffee with a really, really weird mod. I wonder, can I just do this? I haven't tested this part of my mod very well. Yeah, okay, I can't get out of the silo either. I haven't tried it very well. Whoa. Here goes. Here you guys go. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to construction projects. As far as like what the game has to offer, I'm really hoping to get into that myself and I have a bunch of new buildings that no one's ever seen before that I'm hoping I can actually convert them into construction projects and make it work within the game's engine. You'll see what I mean, and you'll see what the buildings are, and I hope that everyone enjoys them. But they're finished buildings. I don't know how I'm going to turn it into a construction project. And I'm going to have to learn more Blender to be able to do that. Rusty. Rusty is hoping for more surprises with the animal concept. I am too. And more small tractors. Yes, yes, yes. You know, all of the previews we've gotten so far have been quad track, quad track, quad track. Like, okay, you're putting a new quad track in. Great. You're putting a new Xerion in. Wonderful. Those are $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 tractors. Where's the small stuff? Where's the old stuff? I really feel like... I think the Giants is relying too heavily on the modding community in regards to older equipment. I think they need to put some focus in themselves on older equipment. If they did one of the DLCs for the year as like an old iron DLC, like it would probably be their highest selling DLC, in all honesty. Just do old iron. Please. And not every piece of equipment has to be a billion meters wide or $1 billion. Like, come on. We don't necessarily all want, you know, super, like, how do you do an 80s? I would not be able to do an 80s series with base game equipment. It would not be possible. There's not enough base game equipment that was made before the year 2000 even to be able to do that. And I think, you know, in 25 we're getting that International Harvester truck, like semi. Great. One more vehicle. We got the Volvo BM something something something, BM something, I don't know what it's called. In the Platinum expansion, sure. We got a couple of those, couple older machines in the Platinum expansion, yeah, but it's not really enough for me. We need more older equipment, more lower horsepower equipment, less of this. I need to make the biggest field possible, and more, you know, let's target things and do things the right way, and have equipment like this, you know, where we get some NPCs, right? Imagine if you could talk to these people. Hey Sally, pick up the pace. You're slacking it over. Yeah, I don't think it's going to come out for 25, and I think that's right. I think I agree with Rusty, and I agree with that estimation. I think once they get to 20th anniversary, I think they're going to focus on they're going to focus on machinery from 20 years ago. But even that gives us back to 2010s, right? 2000s, not 80s and 70s and 60s. But I really hope they do. I don't know if they will, but I hope they do. Yeah, I hope for more old iron. I think it's one thing that's missing from the game. I've had a lot of fun playing with old iron stuff whenever I can. And in all honesty, when I start playing on one of these two maps, I'm going to try to do something kind of old iron-ish with base game equipment, with however I can, but probably using the Farmall as my first tractor, because I never got a chance to play with that tractor in 25 or 22. I'm hoping to actually start 25 with the Farmall. That's the only thing I'm telling you about my plans. But Tennessee Farmer, we were just talking about that right before you joined, but I think it's going to be between 2 weeks and a month before we see our first Mod Hub map. And I think it's going to be, when we do see our first Mod Hub map, it's going to be a converted map of something we've already seen, because the amount of time it takes to create a net new map is astronomical. Um, but I think there is one net new map that probably one of the first net new maps that I know of that's in development that I think we'll see relatively soon is going to be Whitcomb Park. Whitcomb Park is Oxygen David's new map, set in the same kind of area as Calmsden and Court Farms, but he's almost done with development from what I've heard, and all that's left is to convert it to 25 standards and apply some finishing touches. So I think Whitcomb Park will be one of the first net new, we haven't seen this before, maps that we're going to get in 25. That's what I think. And I've loved all of Oxygen David's maps. I've only played on Calmsden. I never played on Court Farms. You know that? Part of the reason I didn't play on Court Farms is it's Scroff's fault, honestly. Because Scroff has been doing that series on Court Farms since the beginning, and I've been following along with his Farmhand series. And I see so much of the map through his series that I don't need to play it myself. If that makes any sense at all. But yeah, I think the one thing that I'm most intrigued about and want to spend time figuring out is 100% the construction stuff. I think it's going to add a new dynamic to the map. I want to see more. The thing is, with the construction stuff we've seen so far, how do I say this? With the construction stuff we've seen so far, most of the construction stuff we've seen so far that they're providing is going to be like building useless things like roller coasters or pianos or stupid carts. Useless. All that's useless. I don't care. Useless. It doesn't serve a purpose other than giving you something to do. So if it's something to do, fine, great. But it's useless to the farming aspect of the game. All it serves is forestry. What I want to see is, and I think we've seen houses that you can build. But from what I've seen, the look of those houses is all very new. It's very modern. You're not building a log cabin. I think that's going to be one of the first construction projects we'll see, is going to be building a log cabin. I bet Omatana's probably already, like, working on building one of her little hobo house farmhouses and making those construction projects. I look forward to that, really. Yeah, I agree, Rusty. I bet he already has it for testing and getting ready and knowing where he's going to put stuff and planning. And I think if you listen to his recent storylines, there's already sort of hints of moving. I think he's going to move. He's going to build it into the storyline somehow. I'm not sure how, but we'll see. But yeah, the construction project's the thing I'm most excited about. And in all honesty, I've been talking about that since Silver Run. When did Silver Run come out? Is that a year ago? 2 years ago? Had to have been 2 years ago. Has it been that long? Did Silver Run come out 2 years ago? Does anyone in chat know? Like, when was the... Silver Run was the year 2 DLC, right? Or was the year 1 DLC? Was it the year 1 DLC was Silver Run, and then the year 2 DLC was Zelonka? Oh, I think everyone I think there's a lot of people who want to see that Tennessee Farmer, and I think that if there's any secret that Giants is holding back, it's going to be what I'd expect those secrets are going to be. If I was them, I doubt I'm right, but I think if there's like 2 or 3 secrets that Giants is going to keep from us, but they're going to release it as part of 25, I think it's going to be horse and oxen driven implements right? It's because we have the oxen now and horses. I think it stands to reason, and especially with the Asian side of farming, it stands to reason that you're going to get horse and oxen driven implements. I think with the addition that they've already made and they've already shown us, with the chainsaw being something that isn't just always on your body, but it's a physical thing in the map that you have to go find, grab, and then use. I think that introduces handheld implements like scythes and chainsaws and axes and weed whackers and hedge trimmers and yada 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 yada. Those to me also signal down the path of animal driven tools. And I hope they do. Because I think that would be a really awesome, especially an old school vibe addition to the game. But I don't know what else they're going to do. I think it's just going to be construction projects. I think each map is going to have one big construction project, just like Silver Run Forest did. From the sound of it, the big construction project on Riverbend Springs is going to be that museum. The museum, rebuilding the museum thing. I think that's the one they've sort of announced there. There's also going to be the building the piano guy is going to have an office in town, and the wagon train thing is going to have a building, whatever. But I think the construction projects for like buildings you build, yeah, like all of those things are going to be, I think those are going to be like the big things in each map. And I think it's kind of up to the modders to up their game, right? And not just leverage base game stuff, but start building some of their own construction projects that are different and unique. I look forward to seeing what the modders can come up with. You know, Alien Jim has given he's given us the first and only thus far buildable building where you see the animation of the building being created, right? Is in his animated sheds pack. But to see those as construction projects that you deliver materials to, I look forward to that. And because of that, I'm going gung-ho and getting my sawmills up on ModHub as soon as possible. The second one, by the way, the band sawmills, there's two. There's the industrial sawmill, which is the one that's for all platforms that I already released, and the band sawmill. The band sawmill is hopefully also coming out for all platforms, because it uses an asset that was only available in the Platinum DLC. Platinum. But now that the Platinum DLC is going to be merged into base game, it'll now be a base game asset, and I'll be able to use it in my mod and get it out for all platforms, hopefully. So I'm looking forward to getting those out, because with all these construction projects, people are going to need sawmills, and the sawmills in the game are big and bulky and cumbersome. And I think mine are pretty cool because they're small and compact and don't take up much space and do the same job. Ronnie says, Germany is 7 hours ahead of me, so some people have it Thursday morning. So from what I understand, the way, and I don't know because I'm not a Giants partner, Rusty might have more information on this. I don't know, Rusty, if you're getting any of this information yet. But from what I understand, the content is released earlier, and then there's an embargo, basically where the people who have the new version of the game or the pre-release version or whatever, they get it ahead of time, maybe a day earlier, but they're not allowed to put out any videos on it or release it in any way or show it at all until the embargo is lifted. And then the embargo, just like embargo, like in from a technical term, is like a restriction against doing something that's usually based on whatever that restriction is. So usually those are based on time, So the embargo here is basically saying, hey, you can't release content on the new game until X. I think the embargo is the same for everybody. So I think people might get the content earlier. They might already have it. I don't know. I don't think they're even allowed to say if they have it or not yet. I think if they're trying so smart, people would already have it today. But the embargo will get lifted all at the same time for everyone. And I imagine that the gold partners, like the high-level partners, like DJ Goham and Farmer Cop and whatnot, whoever, I don't know who they are, but those people who are the premium, the gold level people, or black sheep modding or whatever, they'll have it earlier than everyone else. But I think the embargo gets lifted at the same time for everybody, from what I understand. Did I finish that field? I did. I finished all of it. Alright, well I finished all the long rows, and now I have the short rows to do. I wonder if I can get the coffee harvesting done. But yeah, I think we'll start seeing content from a bunch of the content creators that, you know, would have access to the game early. We'll start seeing that relatively soon. And then we'll see what happens, really. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure if I'm going to be following much of that content. Just because I want to be surprised by the game, too. I want to be surprised by the maps, also. I don't necessarily want to know everything. But at the same time, I don't think I can stop it. I think I'll know everything, because I'm a vacuum for information. I want to know all the things. Maybe some of it is to help me be able to build mods and stuff for you guys, to be able to know some of these things ahead of time, so I can start working on ways to fix things that I know where I'm going to have to fix. The one thing I'm going to do for 22, which I'll announce here, and I think I mentioned it last time, I'm going to have a private pack that'll go out for Discord members only, where I'm going to make small adjustments to base game equipment. Most of it's just to meet my needs, but basically my black editions. I'm going to be releasing the black editions on Discord, not on ModHub. It'll never go to ModHub. With some of my favorite little updates and tweaks to Giants equipment. Most of those will just be XML tweaks to make things faster or black or have a little bit more horsepower or whatever. But I'll probably be releasing that to Discord. So if you want to become a Discord member and get access to that, feel free to click on that link if you're not already in there. And follow along. We'll be getting that stuff out soon. Yes. And I think, I think a lot, so what you can kind of expect from me, if anybody really wants to know, my plan is I plan on doing how-to videos at the beginning. But I'm not doing how to play the game videos. I'll let all of the big content creators do that. I'm going to do what I've been talking about doing for years and years and years, is I'm going to start doing my how to make mods video. I'm going to start that series right away in 25. And so get people thinking about how to make mods, how to think about, like, follow that thought process through on what it takes to make a mod, but also how to do the simple things. I've done a lot of this in my office hours live streams, which have been pretty popular, and there's also a lot of people watching them after the fact and saying, hey, I followed your instructions, I was able to make my first mod, it was really awesome. So I'm hoping to do more of those, but do them in 25. Part of that means I need to learn how things work in 25, but I'm assuming that it's not going to be that much different. And I've got a few tricks up my sleeve to make it better and make it unique. So I don't want to just be doing the same thing, like how to do this crop and everything about sugarcane. You know, those kind of videos. That's not me. I might start off the game by doing, you know, top 10 things I hate about FS25. You know, I'll go the opposite direction as everyone else and be like, and be straight and to the point. This is the stuff they missed. I don't know what that stuff is yet, but you know what I'm saying. This is the stuff that Giants just totally missed. I don't know what that is, but we'll see. I don't know about that. Thank you for the confidence, Tennessee. So funny, actually. Some of the first like how to do mod videos was what I watched was DJ Goham's video back at the early beginnings of 22 when he did a quick video on how to make something have unreal capacity with the whole update mass equals false trick. I think I learned that from DJ Goham forever ago. When he first started doing his, like, making things, like, tweaking stuff the way he does. I learned that the way he did it isn't actually the best way to do it, but, you know, some of my first videos were stuff like that he made. But I doubt anyone big name is watching my stuff. And if you are, and you have some comments and suggestions, please feel free to let me know in Discord or online. I'd love for any tips and tricks. But thanks, Artemis. Yeah, and so there was a map maker that I was following for a while, named Triple D Gaming, and he has a YouTube channel, and you can find it if you look for it. But he was making a map called, I believe he was calling it like the Deep Dark Forest. Because someone already got the name Dark Forest while he was making his map. And he live streamed the entirety of making his map. And he made a really beautiful, amazing map, which probably should be on my list of maps that I never got to play. That never got released. He released it privately, and I do have a copy, but it never got released officially. But it was a beautiful, beautiful map. But he live streamed creating that map, and with basically like giving people tutorials on how to do different parts of map making while he was making the map. And I would love to do that. I would love to do something similar. One of the maps that I'm looking at making, there's a lot of things to solve before I can start sharing that map, but I'd like to create one thing I haven't seen anyone do. I don't know why it's so simple, but I haven't seen anyone make making a map and then make a wilderness version of the same map and release them together. It's just such a simple idea. Like, think of this. We'll think of it simple, right? Take a map like Erlengrat, right? Erlengrat base game map from, I think it was from 19, right? It was one of like the DLCs from 19 when it came to 22. Think of Erlengrat. Now take Erlengrat, remove all of the fields. All of them. And then remove all the roads and the dirt roads between the fields, only leaving the paved roads. And what you're left with is a blank canvas with a town. Very much like this map, where you have a really complex town, blank canvas. And there's roads connecting stuff, how to get to places, but you have lots of open space you can do what you want with. Why hasn't anyone ever done that? I don't get that. Like, it's, from a technical perspective, it's pretty easy to do. Like, you literally, like, save as, and then delete your farmlands. Gone. and suddenly it's a wilderness map, right? Like, from a technical perspective, it's somewhat easy to do, but no one does it. Why not? I did. I know. I got full. I tried doing 4 passes instead of 3. And I think it'll be easier in a minute. The next one will be, the next 4 will be fine. It's just because I was towards the end. There we go. But no one's ever done that. And so I had this map for that it uses real life real life actual area. It's right near me. I could actually drive there in it's about 15 minutes from my house. And we're gonna make a map of my local area. Or I'm gonna make a map of my local area. That's the plan. And it's gonna be very special in a number of different ways. But one of those ways is I want to have a version of the map that gets released along with the main map that doesn't have any fields. It's just open farmland, and let you figure out how to do it. Hopefully better gold mining in FS25. Brazilian gold mining map. That'd be cool. Or an African map with a diamond mine. Or any one of the other types of things that can be mined. Coal mine, a marble mine. Wasn't there a map that came out that had something that looked like a marble mine? Right where they're cutting the big slabs of marble? I could have sworn there was one. I don't know, there's too many maps. How many maps? Did we get like 400 maps for FS22 on ModHub alone? That doesn't even include all the ones that were released privately. Let's see. And I think FS25 is going to be just as big. If not, it's going to be bigger. It's just keep getting bigger. I think the only sad thing is that we've lost a lot of really good modders over time. And some of those modders left because of the community. And I'll be frank, and I'm not, it's nothing, nobody in here, but when the community is negative towards a modder about what they're building and what they're spending their free time on, and I'm going to harp on this because it's really, really important. You get people quitting or threatening to quit or giving up because they can't take that treatment, or they dislike that treatment, or they dislike the way people are treating them, when all they're doing and all they're trying to do is just make a mod or a map or whatever. I think that's sad. And it's up to us as a community to make that stop happening. So you see somebody bad-mouthing a modder, especially directly to their face, and like complaining or bitching and moaning that map A doesn't have feature X or mod Y doesn't have feature A, B, and C. Like, why didn't you do it this? You suck at modding. Why did you ever even bother? Like that kind of crap, which I've seen. It's so volatile to the community. And I don't think people realize how volatile. So we as a community need to stop doing that. So stand up for the modders, stand up for the map makers. You see that kind of stuff happening, just slam those people down. Don't let them do that. Don't let them make those kind of comments. Grandpa's farm on a map. I think that would be a great idea. Rusty, talk to me. I think Grandpa's farm on a map would be a wonderful idea. One thing I hope that they do, which I think no one has actually done, but one thing I hope that they do is, I hope they release blank maps for all platforms. right? And or like other games have done, where someone can in game create a map or an edit of a map and then share that edit with other people. I'd love to be able to like see Rusty be able to take a blank map and then make Grandpa's farm, right? Using the tools that are in the game, not using GE, not using anything else crazy. Using the tools in game, using placeables, using all that kind of stuff. To be able to make, to have the freedom to do something like that. I think that would be awesome. I don't know if that's like one of the secrets Giants is holding under their sleeve. I think there's a lot of technical challenges around that. But a lot of other games have really, you know, gotten a lot of success from the ability for allowing users to share their creations between each other. You know, I've seen a bunch of people who on King Mods and stuff like that are uploading, like they're doing a farm build on No Man's Land, and then they're uploading their save game on King Mods as a new map that people can play. And that sharing of a creation that's done without GE, I think is, and we touched on this earlier, I don't know if it's technically possible, but I hope that something like that comes, and comes soon. I hope that's something that we get soon, because I think it'll change the face of map making, and it'll change the face of, you'll get more people who can create content for other people to enjoy and give them a voice and the ability to share that content with other people. I think that's going to be, if Giants can ever come up with something like that, I think that'll be a game changer, right? And I don't think it's that far-fetched. But the trick is, how do you export that data from console? I don't know. That's why it has to be in the game engine. It can't be a script. It can't be something we build. It has to be something built into the game by Giants. And I don't know if that's something that they even want. I know we want it. I don't know if Giants wants it. Oh yeah, time-saving stock check. I really hope that they so one of the things a lot of people don't know, and I'll explain this for people who are new. So part of the modding agreement, right? Part of the modding agreement is when you when you upload a mod to ModHub, specifically to ModHub, it's no longer yours. You're the one who made it. But technically, Giants owns that content. And Giants can use anything you create in their own stuff. So if I come up with a cool idea, let's say the pallet stacking mod. As an example, I made a mod. It's on ModHub. It allows pallets to get stacked. Right? Pretty simple idea. Pallets don't stack right now. I don't know if they're going to stack in 22, 25. If they don't, then I'm going to release that mod. If they do, then I'll be happy because Giants took my idea and put it into the game. That's the thing, is anytime you upload something to ModHub, Giants has full access to any of it. And they could take that idea and put it into the game. Like they're including swathing in the next version of the game. Did they steal that from BC Bueller? No. It's a legit thing in real life. But they could have just used his code. Maybe they did. We'll find out soon enough, right? But once you upload, Giants has full access to with whatever they want with it. Right? So I hope that Giants is going to steal my ideas. So my two mods that I want them to steal. I want them to steal the spawn pallet stack mod. I really want them to steal that. I want everyone to get the benefit of having more pallets on the map should they choose to have it on. And it obviously would need to be a setting you could turn off and on. I want spawn pallets stacked in base game, where base game productions are spawning pallets already stacked in stacks. You can do it without any code. Modders can do it themselves if they really want to. I don't know if I did a tutorial on this. I think I did. It's really easy to do, even with existing FS22 code, but no one does it. I hope that goes into the base game. I hope that Giants takes my idea, because I put it on ModHub and they're free to do that. I hope they take my idea, and I hope they put it in base game. I really do. And I hope that, like, time-saving stock check gets into base game. Like, that amount of detail about what you have and what you've sold and what you've made and where it is and how you get to it, what the current prices are, what's the best price, what's the next best price, all of that stuff, which is, if you're, you know, it's essentially what should be in the PDA, in my mind. I hope that gets into base game. I really, really do. That would be so awesome if that got into the base game. Because I think console players would enjoy it just as much as us and PC players have enjoyed it since the beginning, right? And that's the thing, is that Giants has the right to do that based on their current policies and the agreements that we sign as modders. They could steal that code and make it happen. Some of the stuff I don't think they're going to steal. Like, there's no way Giants is going to steal the VPW stuff. That's just not going to happen. Because they don't necessarily like realistic stuff. Or unrealistic, I should say. They don't like unrealistic stuff. That's not their thing. So they're not going to steal the VPW stuff. I'm going to have to redo that. But I hope that, you know, some of those ideas make it in there, and because some of it, which requires scripts, is needed. The other one that I really hope that they steal, of mine, specifically of stuff that I made, I hope they steal the horse value mod. I mean, seriously. Horses are worth more in real life than the game makes them out to be worth. And horses are useless at the current value. Make them worth more. Come on, Giants. Get with it. Horses are not worth $5,000 after you've owned them for 5 years. That's not how much they're worth. I hope that auto load, like universal auto load, I hope something like that comes to base game. I doubt it will, because then why would people buy forklifts? But I hope something like that does. If not, I hope that Loki brings it to 25 also. I don't see why he wouldn't. I hope so. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you have to remember that the auto load, quote unquote, auto load is not auto load. So the existing auto load system, when a trailer has auto load, is not auto load. It's basically converting whatever that is to a fill type and then setting the trailer to load that fill type. So it's turning those things into bulk. It's not loading them as individual pallets. And the reason it's only one item is because, as a game mechanic, it's set to only allow a single fill type. If a trailer could support multi-item auto load, then it would have to be converted to support multiple places where that auto load can happen. And there have been trailers, I think of at least one, that supported multi-type auto load. in even like as a base game auto load trailer. But I don't think that's going to happen because Giants doesn't want people to auto load. They want people to buy forklifts or front end loaders or telehandlers and load pallets the right way, quote unquote, whatever that is. I don't think auto load is going to come to base game. Yes, a horse reproduces in game. Horses reproduce at like somewhere between year 4 and 5. It might be year 4 that they reproduce the first time. Oh, I'm full. I need to go empty. It might be year 4, like the beginning of year 4, they'll reproduce. And again, it's asexual reproduction. If you have one horse, they'll have a baby. You don't even need a male horse or a is it 24 months, CS Benji? For some reason, I thought it was longer than that. But you could be right. It's a long time. Which I don't understand, because horses can reproduce faster than that. In real life. So I don't know. Yeah, Benji. So I think that we'll see draft horses but we won't see draft horses in Farm Sim until we see horse-drawn implements. And as soon as we see horse-drawn implements, we'll see draft horses. I think that's going to be how it works. Once we see horse-drawn implements, we'll see draft horses, for sure. Yeah, they are. All animals are female. They don't need males to reproduce. Which I think goes back to the whole, like, not wanting to explain things to kids, because they want kids to be able to play the game, but come on, let's be realistic. But I think that they want to be able to maintain their E for everyone rating. And the E for everyone rating means that we'll never have reproduction, like actual, like, rearing of animals in Farm Sim, and we'll never have chicken, meat, and steak, and pork chops. That'll never happen. Not from base game. Because they want their E for everyone rating. Yeah, I don't know. I would actually be interested to know that statistic. How many kids are actually playing Farm Sim? I don't know. That is interesting. I never realized you can't rename the dog. Yeah, you can, can't you? I thought you can rename the dog. Because if you go onto a map that already has a dog, and that dog already has a name, I thought you could rename it. Huh. I've never noticed that. That's an interesting fact. You could probably also rename it in the XML. I mean, I'm sure you could rename it in the XML, I should say. Not probably. But you can't do that on console. Yeah, maybe they made FS Kids so that they don't have to maintain their E for everyone rating in the next version of the game. Let the kids play the tablet version. Let's keep this version for adults. Adults only from now on. But anyways, look at this. I'm almost done with the coffee bean harvest on this crazy coffee bean field that we planted. But next Tuesday, so I know my stream day changed to Tuesdays, and amazingly enough, Farm Sim is supposed to release on Tuesday, right? 7 days away. So I will be streaming on release day, and maybe doing not just necessarily a map tour, because I'm sure everyone will see a billion map tours by that point. Maybe doing a Josh map tour, where we actually look at the code and see what makes the game tick, see what makes the new stuff work, see where how they did stuff. We can test the things and point out Giant's mistakes, like I so much love to do. But either way, that's next week. And between now and then, I have to rewrite 6 different mods. Yeah, exactly. I don't think anyone does either. Not for Farm Sim. I know there are content creators who do the made for kids. My daughter's 13 and she watches a lot of that stuff that's made for kids and is not, you know, and a lot of honestly, a lot of the made for kids stuff is like it doesn't have comments, it doesn't allow people to be trolls, you know, that kind of stuff. And there's no swearing and whatnot. Not sure how well that stuff's released. Alright, one last row and then we're gonna call it. And then we're gonna see how much we got from all of these coffee beans. It took almost exactly 2 hours to harvest it. In all honesty, I don't think it would have gone any faster if we had one of those special harvesters. Not much faster, at least. So definitely let me know in the comments down below or in the Discord or whatnot. If you want me to see me continue this series even after 25 comes out, we'll definitely be on 25 for some of it. But we could continue to do live streams on this if you guys are looking forward to it. We haven't finished this playthrough. The one thing left to do is to actually get the coffee roaster and deliver the coffee beans to the coffee roaster, and see what kind of money we can make from these coffee beans. I don't know. Never done it before. I hope it works out. Hope it's worthwhile to roast coffee where a lot of maps it's not. But let's look here. Coffee. We have 78,000 liters, almost 79,000 liters. And right now, the max value for that 78,000 liters is $36,000. So half as much, 50 cents per liter, is how much their current value is. Let's see if we can get more than $36,000 for selling it once we process it. But we're gonna have to process it, which means we're gonna have to come back here in some point in time and continue this series. But I want to say thank you for everyone for being here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the stream with your friends, comment down below. If you want to learn more or want to keep up with what I'm doing, don't forget to hit me up on Discord. Well, that's going to be it for me today. I'll catch you everyone next week with Farm Sim 25. Bye-bye. Thanks for being here, everybody. Bye-bye. Oh, that's the wrong one. There's the right one. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thanks for joining, and thanks for all the chatting. It was really great. Awesome. See everyone next time. Bye-bye now.